Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. Again, want to continue our coverage of all of today's top stories from headlines there with politics, also keeping our eyes on this dangerous now Category 5 storm that is now slamming the island of Jamaica. And so we do know that just a few moments ago, we heard an update from the National Hurricane Center giving us the very latest update on this. Let's listen into this here on Live Now from Fox.
Afternoon with the latest on extremely dangerous Hurricane Melissa, which made landfall early this afternoon on the southwest coast of Jamaica. As a powerful Category 5 hurricane. The eye of Melissa has moved across Jamaica and is emerging off the north coast, now about 15 miles east of Montego Bay, moving off to the north-northeast at 8 miles per hour. So for people in Jamaica, still very dangerous conditions across the island. A hurricane warning in effect. The potential for destructive winds and damaging winds likely to continue across Jamaica this evening, especially on the north coast, especially in the areas of high topography. We still have tropical storm conditions across the island. Hurricane warning in effect. The potential for 6 to 12 inches of additional rainfall across the island, leading to isolated storm totals as high as 30 inches. So stay in your safe place, stay in a safe shelter overnight in Jamaica, and listen to any guidance you get from your local officials about when it might be safe to venture out as we go into the day on Wednesday. But still a very dangerous few hours ahead for Jamaica. Now, if we move on upstream or downstream, we're going to see the center of Melissa move out to the north of Jamaica and approach the southeastern coast of Cuba overnight and early Wednesday. We're seeing tropical storm conditions spread across southeastern Cuba now, and if we zoom out, we can see that the center of Melissa expected to make landfall somewhere along the southeastern coast of Cuba in the early morning hours of Wednesday as a powerful major hurricane. So expecting widespread destructive winds near the core of Melissa as it moves across southeastern Cuba, moving off now to the north-northeast at about 8 miles per hour, and that forward speed is going to increase, so those conditions are going to rapidly deteriorate during the evening hours. We're expecting a storm surge of 8 to 12 feet above normal tide levels near and to the right of where the center crosses the coast in southeastern Cuba tonight, and the potential for some very heavy rainfall. Widespread totals of 10 to 20 inches, isolated amounts as high as 25 inches from Manzanillo over to Santiago de Cuba into the Guantanamo province, leading to catastrophic flash flooding. Numerous landslides are likely in those areas. So you need to be in your safe place to spend the night in southeastern Cuba as Melissa's effects approach. Farther downstream, we're going to see the center of Melissa move off of the northeastern coast of Cuba during the daytime on Wednesday, and then move through the southeastern Bahamas during the afternoon and evening hours from Wednesday into Thursday. Of hurricane warnings in effect there, with the potential or expectation of damaging hurricane force winds in those areas, storm surge of 5 to 8 feet of inundation above ground level, and rainfall of 5 to 10 inches across portions of the southeastern Bahamas, in particular very low-lying islands. And if we zoom out even farther, we're going to see Melissa accelerate off into the western Atlantic, passing near or perhaps just west of Bermuda overnight Thursday night into Friday morning. We now have a hurricane watch in effect for that island, for the potential for some rainfall and hurricane conditions possible late Thursday into Friday. So wrapping up with the key messages here, Jamaica, the main message is stay safe, stay in shelter tonight. Damaging winds will continue. Flash flooding will continue. It's going to be widespread infrastructure damage, power outages, communities are going to be isolated. Haiti and the Dominican Republic, catastrophic flash flooding risk continues there. Landslides, especially across southwestern Haiti, southern portion of the Dominican Republic. Over the next day or so, those rainfall will continue there, with an additional 6 to 8 inches expected in portions of those countries. Eastern Cuba, conditions are going to rapidly deteriorate tonight. Be in your safe place, preparing for damaging hurricane force winds, dangerous storm surge, and potentially life-threatening flooding. And the southeastern and central Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, hurricane conditions are likely, along with life-threatening storm surge and heavy rainfall, particularly in the southeast Bahamas, as we go through the day and into the afternoon hours on Wednesday. So please refer to information from your local government officials and your local meteorological service in all these countries, and continue to come back here to the National Hurricane Center at hurricanes.gov for the latest on Melissa. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Brennan.
All right, we certainly appreciate Mike Brennan there with the National Hurricane Center for that update on Melissa. Of course, we were watching it very closely from some of our live cameras as well that we have positioned there on the island, really seeing the impacts of this storm. We do know that the Jamaican government has said that it's done all that it could to prepare as it warned of devastating damage from the strongest hurricane to hit the island since record keeping first began 174 years ago. In fact, the prime minister said that there is no infrastructure there in the region that can withstand a Category 5. The question now is the speed of recovery. That is the challenge. And so just some of this updates that we also have with data from the Associated Press shows that Melissa is among the strongest hurricanes ever in the Atlantic basin. In fact, the only one that's beating it out is Hurricane Allen, which happened in 1980, which reached those high winds of 190 miles per hour in comparison to Hurricane Melissa, reaching 185 miles per hour. So landslides, fallen trees, and numerous power outages have been reported ever since Melissa has first come ashore near New Hope, with some of those officials in Jamaica now cautioning that the cleanup and damage assessment could be slow. The storm is expected to also head towards Cuba, where intermittent rain has been falling. And so before we go to a 2-minute commercial break, I want to also show you this vantage point that we have there here on Live Now from our XRAD system, as you can really see the size of this storm as it's barreling through the Atlantic basin. Off to the side there on the right side of your screen is San Juan in Puerto Rico. But again, Jamaica, this storm has been impacting the island. We'll continue to watch as the remnants still continue to fall out and how they also are going to be affecting parts of the U.S. mainland.